In this activity, we want to help students think about the module as engineers would. Engineers solve problems. The problem in Activity 1 was the music was too soft. In order to make the music louder, we're going to use a chip called an amplifier. The amplifier will be on a circuit that's going to be built on a breadboard, and the entire circuit will be designed to make that amplifier work and make the music louder. In the end, the music will play louder through the speaker, and we'll have a circuit that works.
There are a lot of small pieces involved in today's activity, and students should be careful when using them not to lose any.
Make sure to also emphasize that students shouldn't fool around with other teams' circuits or materials during these activities. They should also give themselves plenty of space to work so that constructing their circuits is easier. Today's activity will introduce several new circuit components. Things to look for include the amplifier chip, capacitors, and resistors. This chip makes the sound from the speaker louder by increasing the electrical signal. It is very fragile and you should avoid bending any of the pins. Also notice that the chip is added to the breadboard with the notch facing upward. A resistor is an electrical component that resists the flow of electricity by converting some of that energy into heat. Capacitors store and stabilize energy. They also have positive and negative ends. Knowing which is very important, but also pretty simple. The positive end has a longer wire, while the negative end has a shorter wire.
Remember that the batteries shouldn't be handed out until the students have had their circuits completed and checked. If things get a little overwhelming though, and a lot of kids finish their circuits at the same time, it's okay to hand them out a little early. Also, the batteries should be disconnected from the circuits when not in use, as this prevents them from dying really quickly.
Building a circuit like this one is no easy task. Even the smallest errors can prevent the entire system from working. This can be frustrating, but a little patience and knowing what mistakes to look for will usually be enough to fix it. One of the most common and easy mistakes to fix are like these. Any row with only one hole filled means that that piece is not connected to anything else, and is likely a mistake. Another easy error to spot is an improperly oriented amplifier chip. Double check that the notch is facing up. Although not easy to spot, it is a good idea to check the orientation of the capacitors next. Remember, the longer wire is positive and the shorter wire is negative. If that doesn't seem to be the problem, make sure that the battery snap wires are correctly connected to the power rails. The red wire should be in the right red power rail, while the black wire should be in the left blue power rail. If none of those suggestions fix the problem, check that each of the 8 pins on the amplifier chip is connected to the correct component in each respective row. If all else fails, backtrack to the first step and check things one by one.
One way to handle having too many circuits to check or too many questions to answer at once is a list. Have students come up and write their names on the board once they've completed their circuits or if they have a question. Going down the list in order makes things much easier to manage.
With our new circuits complete, the music should play much more loudly.
Now that we've learned a bit more about building circuits and their components, our next step will be to make them wireless. Remember, your students should leave their circuits assembled for Activity 3.